Hi, I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with my series entitled Blues Solos with Comping. In this series we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar accompaniment, also known as comping. This is within a 12-bar blues. First, I'll perform Blues Solo with Comping in the key of E number 8, and then I'll break it down for you. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, let's break down Blues Solo with Comping in the key of E number 8. In these exercises I go back and forth between lead guitar and rhythm guitar accompaniment, otherwise known as comping. We have a 12-bar blues that I've divided into 3 sections. In each section we go back and forth from lead guitar to the comping. So we'll have a lick and then comping and then another lick and more comping. The scale that we'll be using in this exercise is primarily the E blues scale. I'm fingering this around the 5th to 8th fret area. For those of you who know the caged system, this is the C pattern. It's fingered like this. That's the E blues scale in the C caged pattern. Now sometimes the term blues scale and minor pentatonic are used interchangeably. The blues scale is simply the minor pentatonic with the addition of the blue note. So they are related. Now let's go on to part 1. So our first lick starts here at the 5th fret, and we're using the chromatic passage of the blues scale. So we have 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, and these are all triplets. Triplet, down the blues scale, and then this triplet involves a bend. And then the last note of this lick is about a quarter to a half bend. And we're doing this bend here because this note is the flat 3 of the scale, or the minor 3rd of the scale, and our chord here is major. So we're trying to approach more that major sound, sort of aiming for a chord tone at the end of a phrase. That's usually a good idea. And then after we play the lick, we go to the comping. So the comping is based on an E 9th chord. I play the low open E, and then I play a 9th chord in E 9th, but I approach it from a half step under. So and then my next lick, again, I'm going to start this with like about a quarter to a half bend, down the scale, slide into the blue note, and then into the comping. Let's put that together. Now for part 2. So in our next lick that's at the beginning of part 2, we're leading in to the A7th chord change. Now this is the 4 chord in our key of E blues. And so I'm going to start thinking about the A7 chord a little early. I'm starting actually the lick on A. And I'm still playing out of that E minor pentatonic or E blues scale, but I'm really thinking about more chord tones in A. So if you don't understand chord tones, at least the root here is A. So we're starting on A, and bending to A, coming down on the blues scale, and then I'm ending this lick on A. So I'm trying to make kind of a strong A statement going into the A7th chord change, while still kind of keeping within the E blues scale. And then I'm going to change my accompaniment here because now I'm on the chord A7th, or comping around A7. So I'm going to hit the open A, that would be my root. And now I'm going to actually chromatically approach an abbreviated A ninth chord. So the chord I'm approaching is this. So the notes here are G, B, and E. So relative to A being the bass note, we have the flatted 7 of A, the ninth of A, the ninth is the same as the 2, and the 5th. So that's enough to suggest an A ninth chord. And so we play the open bass note and then we approach this chord by half step. So that's just a chromatic approach. And at that point, we're going to go back or head back to the E chord. And again, I'm using a lot of triplets here. This is partially because most common blues, a lot of it is what we call that shuffle or swing feel. And that whole feel is based around the triplet. So you'll see a lot of triplets used. So in this case, I'm starting on this triplet, including the blue note on the 6th string. I'm going through the chromatic part of the blues scale. Triplet, triplet, triplet. Ending my phrase on E. Now, that's timely because that's where the E chord change starts. So I've ended my phrase on the chord tone of E, that is the root, and then I'm back to the E comping. So again, I hit the low, open E, and then approach the E ninth chromatically. Let's put that together. On to phrase 3. So we start off by sort of outlining the E chord change. I'm bending again like a quarter to a half step to the major third of E. There's the 3rd, so, and then I'm playing the 5th of the E. So I'm using chord tones here to outline the change. And then I'm coming down the scale. And I'm ending on the note A this time. Again, before, when I ended on A, it was the root of A, but now that I'm ending on this A, it's actually a chord tone of the 5 chord B7th. It's the 7 of a B7. So I'm using a chord tone here to set up the chord change. I'm just not using the more obvious root. And so after we set up this B7th chord change, we're going to use 9th chords. So this is a B9. So, and we're going to walk that chromatically down to an A9. So B9 moving down to A9, and then we lead back into the E chord change. And the lick that we have here starts on the 5th fret high E string, and then we have a pull off from the blue note back to the 5th fret. So, and we do that again, coming down the scale. Now we're going to skip over a couple of notes. So ending our lick on E. That's the root again. And at this point, we go into the turnaround. Now the turnaround uses a double stop here with the low open E and a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the 5th string. So we're hammering onto E here, but we're playing the low E with it. So 3 times down the scale, shifting out of position a little bit there for that G, and then ending on the open E. And then we use abbreviated dominant chords here. So this is an A7, we have a root, a 7, and a 3. And we're going to move these chords chromatically from A to B7. So that signals, you know, a short 5 chord at the end of the progression. And then finally, we end on an E9 chord. Here's the chord. And in this voicing, I'm using the low open E. And then I have a root, a 3rd, a flatted 7, a 9th, which is the same as a 2. And if you want, you can put the high B on top. That's a 5th. Let's put that together one more time. That's it for Blues Solo with Comping in the key of E, number 8. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.